And it's good afternoon to the viewers. This is That's Racing, and today we're going to give you our four best bets for tomorrow's Flemington meeting. There'll also be the Professor's Parlay, and if you wait till the end, we'll be on the Soapbox talking about a couple of issues that we have in racing. It's a very good afternoon to the Gelding. Good afternoon, Gelding.
Good afternoon, Professor. Good afternoon, listeners.
I'm that steamed up about some of
my-
the issues. I'd like to talk about them now, but I know people have tuning in to listen to our tips first, so I'll happily put those aside just for the time being.
Yes, Professor. I got a bit to say on the soapbox, but also looking forward to Flemington races tomorrow. Good fields, finals day at probably the best racetrack in the Southern Hemisphere.
Yeah, a 9-race card, Gelding. The first's at 11:55, the last's at 4:40 p.m. There are two feature races, in my opinion, Gelding. They're both worth $200,000. Race 7, the Mahogany Challenge Final. It's a quality race for 3-year-olds over 2,500 metres. And race 8, the Winter Championship Series Final, a quality listed race over 1,600 metres. The track is currently shown as a soft 7, Gelding. If there's no rain, and I don't think there will be, I think it'll start a lot better than that. And the rail's in the true position.
Flemington, Professor, as we've said, probably the best recovery from any rain. Let's hope there's no rain during the meeting because that can really spoil it. But, I think the viewers know my views of Flemington. You get your chance.
Yeah, you do, Gelding. All right, what are your two best bets for tomorrow?
Quickly, Professor, I've gone a bit funny today. You'll like the theories behind both of them, and knowing your background, I might get a query on them. But anyway.
Well, Gelding, let me just butt in there. What I'd say about that is you've been listening to me for too long.
Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Professor, look, my first tip's race 5, horse 5. She's an artist, trained by Kieran Ma, to be ridden by Jamie Mellum. Jamie Carr returns back to Melbourne racing tomorrow. Good to have such a class jockey back on board. This horse been outstanding. 2 starts, one at Flemington, last start by almost 4 lengths, Professor, from another horse that we really like in this race as well, Fieldo. But the way she's an artist, won last start with Crane Williams aboard, won very easily. And this was after winning its maiden by 5 lengths. So this horse may be a group horse. Races tomorrow in a listed class race over 1,200. I think this one will give a very good welcome back to Jamie Melbourne rather than Jamie Carr. But look, I like race 6, horse 5. Then I'm going race 8, horse 3, one of my favourites and one of our favourites, Professor Jimmy the Bear, trained by Paddy Payne, in scintillating form at the moment, Paddy Payne, and to be ridden by Billy Egan, who's riding in fantastic form. This horse last 4 starts, 2 wins, 2 seconds, consistent. Look, worried about number 10, All Too Good, which beat Jimmy the Bear last start by 3 lengths, but hoping round about the $6 mark, Jimmy the Bear will be a very good each-way bet. And in a championship final race over a mile, hopefully we'll be there. So, Professor, my 2, race 6, number 5, she's an artist, into a race 8, horse 3, Jimmy the Bear. And you like?
Yeah, Gelding, I'm going early. Probably too early for you, given that you're putting the bets on. Race 1, the Next Generation Series Final, a 2-year-old quality race over 1,200 metres. You got anything to say about the selection of the race, Gelding?
AM or PM?
AM, 11:55 AM start, Gelding.
I'm sure you just study the first race every time it's my turn.
All right, in this one, Gelding, I'm going for horse number 1, Bakash, coming out of barrier 7. Only had the 4 starts for 1 win and 2 placings, 25% win rate, 75% place rate. It's up in class, Gelding, but it ran second in the Group 3 Maribyrnong Plate back in November last year, and that's pretty good form. Last start, 6 lengths winner at Cranbourne 2 weeks ago over the same distance. It's also run third at the Heath in December in the Magic Millions. It's a lot to like about it, Gelding. Daniel Stackhouse is in great form, except for one of the races last week. 11% over his career, but 16% over his last 50, but one of those races last week wasn't a win. Hayes Brothers.
Captain Electric, Professor?
We'll talk about that in the Soapbox, Gelding. You're reading my mind. The Hayes Brothers, they're in scintillating form. 14% over their career, but 18% over the last 50. $2.50 and $1.24, Gelding. Wouldn't be surprised if it starts odds on, but take the $2.50 now, I think.
Professor, question without notice for you on your tip.
Yes.
Have you got the stats for Hayes with 2-year-olds this year?
No, I don't, Gelding. Have you?
Because they would be a bit of homework for you, but they are absolutely killing the 2-year-old races.
Well, if you're going to get a horse, then that might be the trainer to get your 2-year-old with, mightn't it?
I'll turn around and look up there, Professor.
Very good, Gelding. All right, my second selection gives you a little bit more time, Gelding. Race 4, the Silver Bowl Series Final, a 2-year-old quality race over 1,600 metres. I like in this one, horse number 6, Gelding, from a distance, out of barrier 6, had the 4 starts for 1 win and 2 placings. So again, a 25% win rate, 75% place rate. Last start second at this track over 1,620 metres, Gelding, in a 3-year-old open race. It was beaten by a very good horse, Taken, who'd won 4 out of 4. I think that from a distance should have beaten Taken if it had been able to get out. It got collared or caught, boxed in twice during the race, Gelding, once in the home straight. Declan Bates couldn't get the run. As I said, held up twice. Beaten by less than a length in the end, Gelding. So I think, I know that you like another horse in this race, but I think from a distance might salute tomorrow.
No, well, Professor, looking forward to 140 tomorrow, and I'm sure there'll be Texas Exchange, but hopefully from a distance can get up for our parlay and also for the viewers.
Yes, Gelding, very good odds too. $6 and $1.95 at the present time.
I like it, Professor.
All right, so my 2 for tomorrow, Gelding. Race 1, horse 1, Bakash. Race 4, horse 6, from a distance. Now, let's turn to the successful Professor's parlay. Last week, the Black Cloud ran second.
Yes, a bit stiff, but we were thereabouts.
We were, and we'd parlayed that into the Gold Coast to beat Melbourne and Collingwood to beat North Melbourne. North Melbourne had a great first half, just like last night, Gelding, but
yes,
as they did the previous week, fell away.
Did you like the jumper of North Melbourne?
Oh, looked a little bit like McKinnon of the old days, didn't it?
It's the old McKinnon Federal League jumper, wasn't it?
It was, very much so.
Have you heard from Stephen Barnes about it?
No, I haven't, Gelding. Have you?
Okay.
Have you heard?
No.
No. Well, I should ring him to find out, shouldn't I?
Yeah, that's good to see.
Yes, it was. All right, Gelding, so the Professor's parlay currently 11 from 27, so we're back over the 40%, Gelding, 41%.
Oh, pressure's on.
The pressure is on. So this week's parlay, Gelding, let's turn to that. Race 6, horse 5 at Flemington. She's an artist for all the reasons that you mentioned earlier. And let's parlay that. We'll go the AFL this week, Gelding. Adelaide Crows playing at home to beat Melbourne. Adelaide third on the ladder. They're second in scores for, average 99 points per game. And they're also second in defence too. They only allow 71 points per game. Gelding, they've won 4 out of the last 5. That's excellent form. I know that you might not be totally convinced about them, but I'm certainly convinced about them against Melbourne on Sunday. Melbourne 14th, a terrible season. They're only scoring on average 78 points a game and allowing in 90. You don't win many games like that. And of course, they've lost 4 out of their last 5. So guess what? With those figures, you don't win games.
Yeah, backs tell it all, don't they?
They do, Gelding. And the line's 28.5, which I think is probably generous as far as if I was backing Melbourne, I'd want more than 28.5.
Yeah. Well, Adelaide, with the big three key forwards, be interested to see how it goes against Melbourne's defence.
It will, Gelding, it will. All right, so, and we'll parlay that into Geelong playing at home to beat Richmond. I'm sorry, Gelding, they're going to absolutely obliterate them, I think.
Professor, I'm worried what could happen down there tomorrow. Richmond seems to have run its race for the year. They seem to be limping to the line. Tom Lynch, no Tom Lynch, of course. Just a stupid act. And I think he got off a bit lightly at 5 weeks, Professor.
Yeah,
when I saw it, I thought, if that's not 6 weeks, nothing's 6 weeks.
Yeah, well, 5 weeks, so he won't be there, Gelding, and that's certainly going to affect them. They're 17 on the ladder. They only score on average 64 points a game. That's last in the AFL, Gelding. 18th out of 18. So without Tom Lynch
to do that tomorrow,
without Tom Lynch, I can't see them scoring the 64 tomorrow. Whereas Geelong score 98 on average, and they only allow 77. Richmond allow 99, which is 15th out of 18. Geelong have won 4 out of the last 5, good form. Tigers lost 5 out of the last 5. This will probably be 6 out of 6, Gelding.
Agree completely, Professor. And as I said, very worried. You said the line betting was how many points?
60.5, Gelding.
I think it could be well and truly above that, Professor.
I think you mentioned a figure like maybe about 80 or 90, Gelding.
Yeah, I said it's a possible 15-goal loss. So, yeah, not confident at all.
No, it doesn't sound like it, Gelding.
No.
All right, so tomorrow's parlay, race 6, horse 5, She's an Artist, into Adelaide to beat Melbourne, into Geelong to beat Richmond. And let's go to the soapbox, Gelding.
Okay, we're on board.
We've been yakking on this for nearly 5 years. I'm exceptionally disappointed with the way the stewards are reviewing races at the present time. Well, look, I know I'll say right from the outset, of course, when I'm backing horses, I look to see if my horses aren't successful. I look to see the stewards' report after each race. I diligently look at that. I think I'm getting less and less interested in what they've got to say, Gelding, because it just seems to me that any excuse by the jockey, the trainer, there doesn't seem to be much, and from my occupation, Gelding, there doesn't seem to be much cross-examination of the participants by the stewards.
This may be a bit over the top, Professor, but I would love to have a steward's job. As you said, your profession, if someone tells you something and it doesn't relate to what you've seen on the track, you should be entitled to question it. Do you? And you can take, for an example, Daniel Stackhouse' reply for Captain Electric last week was in the stewards report.
Yeah, I thought you were going to ask me about the other one. I was going to talk about Manolo Bling first, Gelding.
Manolo Bling.
Let's talk about Manolo Bling.
Okay. A horse that in a race led until the last 200 metres.
Okay, so you're quite right, Gelding. These are the issues that I've got with it. Number one, Manolo Bling was sent out favourite. So there's a lot of money. There's a lot of people put money on that horse.
Yeah.
It led for a long time in the race. You said 200 metres. That'd be about right. Okay. And then it got swamped by the field and finished 8th from 8. Now, the jockey's explanation, the filly raced flat. That's it. That's all the stewards' report said. Filly raced flat. Stewards to follow up with the stable. Now, I didn't bet on that horse personally, but if I had of, I'd want more from the stewards than that.
Professor, completely agree with you. Well, my problem with it is, it's just accepted. The horse raced flat. Thank you, jockey. Move on. All right. Now, how can a horse race flat and lead for 1,000 metres?
Yeah,
Did
I
the
don't
jockey,
understand. That's what I don't understand, Gelding. Doesn't make any sense.
don't you just say to the jockey, it's simple, isn't it? That statement just doesn't make sense with a horse leading. Explain further.
Yeah.
Right? It's that simple.
You know, there's a number of questions. Did the jockey allow the horse to over race to start with, so that by the time it needed an effort, it couldn't give one, right? But I didn't. You know, when the horse raced flat, the horse raced flat in the last 200 metres.
Yeah.
Now I'd like to know why it raced flat in the last 200 metres, but not the first 1400.
Here's a question for the stewards. Did you give your horse the best possible chance to win that race? Which is what they've got to do.
Yes.
Right? And he will say, well, race flat. Well, you can't lead for 1,000 metres racing flat and then weaken. Did you set it at the wrong pace? Did you misread the track? You know, it was an early race, and as it turned out, it wasn't a leader's track. Right? So did he misread it? Okay, if they make mistakes, fine. You know, and no, it was a S-hit ride, or it was a questionable ride, or it was, remember, as you said, this is a favourite. Hundreds of thousands of dollars was put on this horse to win.
Yeah.
Now, the steward's report is to give us a reason why that horse didn't win. And all we got was it raced flat. No, the jockey may have made a wrong judgment call, which they're entitled to do, right? And set the horse out too early, and it had nothing left.
Yeah.
He may have misread the track. He may have put it in a position on the track that was incorrect. Right? Fine. Let them answer that.
Yeah, and let there be some explanation rather than
just say, race flat, okay, move on. As you were talking about reading stewards' reports, there must be 6 versions, you know, below market expectations. You know, not at race 5 wide and covered an extra 30 metres, you know. I just didn't perform to market expectations.
Yeah. The second one I've got an issue with is Captain Electric. Now, I'll put my hand up. I did have money on that one. The jockey said the horse raced keenly in the middle stages. All right. Now, I've looked at I told in the warm-up, Gelding, I said I've watched that race at least half a dozen times. The horse raced 4 wide, was 8 wide on the turn, and was beaten less than 3 lengths.
Yep.
Now, I don't see how the horse raced keenly is an explanation of how that horse was actually raced.
Excuse me, Professor, I should have the cock button.
Yeah, I was just saying, Gelding, like, I don't understand how that's an explanation for what I watched on the video. And how, so if the stewards aren't doing just more than rubber stamping what the jockey says, we need more, don't we?
I agree. Like, this is from a form guide, right? This jockey said it raced keenly during the middle stages. Well, it was in a 2,000 metre race, right? So the middle stages, to me, is around the 1,000 metre mark, down the back, right?
Correct.
I'm looking at position. It was 12th on settling, 12th to the 1,200 mark, 10th to the 800 metre mark, 12th to the turn. So we just basically stayed in the same position the whole race to the turn. 12th, which is at the rear of the field.
Yep.
So it's not racing keenly. It's racing at the rear of the field. He then hooks it out how wide?
4 wide.
Around the turn?
8 wide.
It is covering another 20 metres than the horses up the front.
Well, Gelding, why isn't there a question from the stewards? Why were you 8 wide on the turn?
Exactly. Your profession would tell you that's what you asked, isn't it?
Yes.
There's our film. Why are you that wide? Right? Not that the horses race keenly. He had the horse placed too far back the whole race. So he had to go wide to get around all the horses.
Yeah, well, that's why it was racing keenly.
Well, because he was kicking it, trying to make up ground.
That's right.
Yeah, if you're 12th, you're 6 lengths off the lead, if not further.
Anyway, Gelding, all I'd call for is some action. Like, what is the Minister for Racing doing? Like, how can there's got to be some form of complaint about what the stewards actually
What's the Minister doing? Well, we've seen ministers at the races, Professor, and every time I've seen them at the races, they're having lunch with the committee, aren't they?
Yeah.
At the members' expenses.
Hopefully, they should be in there talking to the members or the owners to see how they feel about it all.
They are the ministers responsible for racing, right? Is the structure of racing wrong? Who runs it? Is it Racing Victoria? Is it the Melbourne Racing Club? The VRC? These stewards are employed by Racing Victoria. They're supposed to have control of the meeting when they go on track. My first question to Daniel Stackhouse, did you give your horse every possible chance of winning?
Yeah.
And let's see how he answers that. Professor, it's, I don't know. Can I get a job as a steward?
I'd like one, Gelding. All right, Gelding. About time we got down off the soapbox. We've given that one a bit of a pound again. That's how many times have we spoken about that in 5 years?
Well, Professor, unfortunately, I can't see anything changing in 5 years.
No, neither can I. We mug punters still keep putting our money on.
Well, and that's what we say to our listeners, and it may be a bit funny. When we put it down, we're expecting good tracks, and we're expecting professional good rides. Right?
Yeah, we are, Gelding.
And unfortunately, that just doesn't happen.
Yeah, not all the time anyway.
No. And normally a good ride is the difference between winning a race compared to the other alternative.
Yeah, very much so, Gelding, very much so. All right, Gelding, that's all for today's program. We'd ask the viewers to not only like the show, but also to subscribe to the channel. We've got a couple of new subscribers this week, Gelding, so that was great to see. And if you subscribe, you not only get this terrific racing show, but you also get a terrific little NRLW show that Paul Daligan and I put out every Wednesday.
It's a beautiful thing. You and Daligan together are lovely.
It is, Gelding.
An odd couple?
A very odd couple, Gelding,
Beautiful.
Very odd couple. All right, Gelding, until next Saturday, it's good luck.
And good punting.